大家好，我是凯文。今天这一视频开始之前呢，先要问一下大家，今年的足坛，梅西去巴黎 ，C 罗去曼联，纽卡斯尔被收购，哪件事儿更劲爆？那么纽卡斯尔的收购发生的速度之快，规模之大，新东家之富有，都是前所未有的。所以今天呢，我就请到了英国著名的纽卡斯尔球迷博主 Lee Lawler， 他也是著名的球迷频道 Newcastle Fans TV 的主持人和创始人。我们一起来聊一聊，作为一个死忠纽卡斯尔球迷，这项收购有什么样的意义 ？Right, so Lee, it's good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Can you tell us how long you've been supporting Newcastle?
Since 1995, when I was a little child, Kevin Keegan era. What a time to be alive to support Newcastle United. I was fortunate at Newcastle. It was my local side. We were winning, almost won the title in the Premier League.
I'm a Manchester United fan. I've heard my dad talking about that time. It's tense rivalries. For someone that have supported the club for, I think, 26 years, what does the Newcastle takeover mean to you?
Hope. That's the word that's being branded around everywhere because people who are probably under the age of 20 haven't had any success. Whereas I look at it now and I think I'm a little bit fortunate that I've experienced some of that. So it's to have hope for all of the fan base, for the young generation. Instead of going to a game thinking, oh, can we nick a point today? That mindset changes by investing in the squad, which will surely come. And then the mindset will change. I think, you know what? I fancy us today. We can go and get 3 points today. It's all about having that hope and the ambition back.
You talked about the 14 years of Mike Ashley era. There were times when we thought things could change for Newcastle, but it fell through. We see it from the outside because the team hasn't done really well. What is it like for a Newcastle fan to have Mike Ashley as an owner?
I wouldn't wish it on any club. And I know he might go back into the football industry. I hope he doesn't because he will suck the life out of that club. We've had 2 relegations. We've had no investment. We've had no. The thing is that hurts me is the communication. That's what you want as a fan, to speak to your club and vice versa. We've had none of that. We've been shut off. You can go through like the stadium name change, the treatment of ex-players. It's been disgusting, and having to play defensive football continuously. As I say, it's going to come back to the word hope.
I guess the majority of football fans in this country don't like the term rich football clubs. Would you agree with that?
Yes, there is. And of course, we've seen investment through Chelsea and Manchester City and now Newcastle United. So I can understand why a billionaire comes walking through and changes the landscape of the Premier League. This will again happen with Newcastle steadily in the next few years. That Newcastle, we hope and we expect it now, that'll start climbing the table and be a power. There'll be 7 power teams now. I think it's good for the Premier League that there's more competition.
What do you think should happen to Steve Bruce now?
He has to go. He has to go. Amanda Staveley's been very, very clever on what she's saying. She's not making any decision. For me, that tells me that there's going to be a managerial change, because if you're backing the manager, the owner would then say it.
Well, there are talks of Brendan Rodgers being one of the candidates, and also Antonio Conte, Steven Gerrard. I even read this morning about Mikel Arteta being one. Do you have someone in mind?
Medium term or long term, I'd love to see Mancini, because everywhere he goes, he wins something. Probably short term, you probably need a stepping stone. So someone like you mentioned, a Brendan Rodgers or Steven Gerrard or an Eddie Howe. I think fans would jump at the chance to swap Steve Bruce for any one of those 3 names.
And to look at the long term, I mean, let's face the truth. You now have the richest club owner in the world, more than 10 times richer than the second on the list, which is Sheikh Mansour. So now, just put it simply, when are you looking to win the treble?
We haven't won nothing since, over 50 years ago. So I would love to see a trophy. I'll take a League Cup right now. I'll take a League Cup. I would. Look, I think that's a little bit further ahead. We've got to stay in the league, which I think that will happen now, because the investment will come in January. And then maybe Europa League, then maybe the Champions League. Who knows? Depending on the investment and obviously financial fair play. I'm not worried about trophies yet. Worry about and then fantasize about signing your Haaland, your Mbappes and all of that later on. But for the time being, I'm over the moon because Mike Ashley's gone, and I'm relieved in the hope, and I'm very, very excited as well about the future, what's going to happen to Newcastle United, because people under the age of 20 have never experienced hitting the top of the league, whereas I've been fortunate. But to have that back, I cannot wait.
Well, finally, I know you just said you're not going to fantasize about the big signings, but I'm going to get this out of you. Let's pick a team that you're going to, win the league with. You're going to win everything with.
We need a right back. So
right.
Someone, if you just give us like that, Trent Alexander-Arnold would be a great signing if we can fantasize. We need another striker, of course we do, because Callum Wilson's injury prone. So you could pick off Mbappe, you can pick off Haaland, even someone like Zlatan for a year because we can afford his wages, Mo Salah. We can dream. A creative midfielder would be fantastic as well. It's excitement, and we will get linked to these names. And instead of shopping in what we would call Poundland, we're going to be shopping in Harrods now.
How about Harry Kane? Because there's one player that wanted to leave his current club. How about him?
Harry Kane would be a great signing, but what we can't guarantee is trophies right now, which I think he wants. So I think he would quite happily go to a Manchester City or a Man United first and win some trophies, because he's going to have on his CV that he's won nothing. So if he comes to Newcastle, I don't think we'll win a trophy for a few years just yet.
I'm just so happy to hear that you said he would go to Man United to win some trophies. It would be great to see Newcastle win some trophies, actually.
Oh, the scenes, man. I mean, you may have seen the fans outside the ground the other night, and that was just for getting rid of Mike Ashley. And there was about 5,000 celebrating for about 6-7 hours. Could you imagine if we win something, though? Could you imagine the streets in the city centre? Because we're based in the city centre of the stadium. It will go nuts. It's dreams that may come true.
Yeah.